Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. Hello, hello, hello. I think it's on. Is it on? Let me see here. All messages are visible. Da, 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 da. Let me see here. Output, stream. There we go. All right. Sorry for the delay. I was trying to get the tier list set up again, but it was kind of broken, so I had to redo it. But as you can see, we're doing a tier list today, basically about what apps I think are very dangerous and what apps you should probably not use, and then go from there. The chat is talking about some sort of a Pooh Bear thing. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. And then, so I'm gonna go over some of the apps. I'll show you here. So these ones that I have, not all of them. So if you see an app that you're not sure about, let me know in the chat, and then we can go over it after these ones. Okay? So let's get started. By the way, I have to rename these again. I keep having to rename them. So this one's gonna be called Super Danger. Oh, actually, like this. Super Danger. This one, let's call it relatively dangerous. This one is use with caution. This one is okay, and that's safe. All right, let's do it like this. Cool. Okay, so the first one is Shein, right? Shein is obviously a Chinese company. It's super dangerous because of the huge amount of user base that it has. It has people are buying from Shein, and they're using their real address, real names, phone numbers, emails, etc. So just based on the aspect that it collects a lot of those basic data, it's pretty dangerous. And it creates a lot of reliance, because once you buy from these cheap online fast fashion places, you're never going to go back to others. And also because it is owned by a Chinese company. And so anytime there is data being transferred, it's, you know, whatever data they want to get, they can hand it over to China. So Shein is a dangerous one. Okay. Orlando says, no matter where the app is from, all of them are dangerous and steal your data. So that's a good point. No matter, like, data is obviously being stored by any company, right? It's the most important, most valuable asset to internet companies these days. But when it comes to China, they weaponize it. So I think that's a really important one. Okay, so the next one is NetEase. NetEase is, again, one of the companies that's really dangerous, because NetEase games particularly, they have a lot of mobile games. I think if you just go look on their game portfolio, some of the games they have, like Omyoji or Amioji. This is a pretty popular IP. It's owned by NetEase. Some of them, like Lost Light, also owned by NetEase as well. NetEase also used to publish Blizzard games too in China until last year, I believe, or 2 years ago. So a lot of those games, they're actually made by NetEase themselves, right? If you look at the developer for Omyoji, it's developed by NetEase and it's published by NetEase Games. So this is a through and through Chinese company, and the games are from China. So already it's a pretty bad thing, because some of the games, which I'll talk about, like with the case with, say, you know, like Riot Games, it's different. It's an American company that's owned by a Chinese parent company, so it's a little bit dangerous. But NetEase Games, they will take your data, and even if you use like a alias or some sort, like fake name, fake birthday, etc., when you register for the account and when you play, it still has access to some of the information on your phone. Okay, next one is Tencent. So Tencent again is one of those companies that's like a umbrella, right? Tencent pretty much owns. Oh man, there's just so many companies in America invested by Tencent. Some of the biggest ones like Riot Games publishes League of Legends. They're basically a subsidiary of Tencent. You have companies like Blizzard, that was also prior owned by Tencent before it was purchased by Microsoft. You have Epic Games, who is also largely owned by Tencent. So Tencent is like this conglomerate that owns a lot of the stuff, right? They also own things like WeChat, QQ, etc. So it's really important to understand that anytime you see a company, you have to search for who they own. Like I was reading an article. Let me see if I can find it. Is it this one? So take a look at this chart here. These are all of the companies, gaming companies and app makers that Tencent has stakes in. Some of them, like they even own percentage in Tesla. And this is old, right? This is not as updated. Like they have for games, they have Riot Games, Supercell, Activision, Epic Games, Ubisoft, Discord, which is another one that we're going to talk about. So they own a lot of them. Now the problem with Tencent, right, is like the company itself, all of their own domestic games that they make are dangerous. But they also have a lot of these American subsidiaries. So even if they own them, they're not they're relatively less dangerous because these are American companies, but they're just owned by a parent company in China. So for Tencent's case, I'm only talking about the actual games that are published by Tencent. Which, let's take a look here. Tencent works very closely with another company called Teamy Studio. So Teamy Studio groups, they have games like, which I believe I talk about here. They have games like, where is it? Arena of Valor, which is published by Teamy. You have COD M, which is also published by Teamy. But I'm going to put COD M here with caution because I believe Activision is the publisher for COD M. So this one, I'm not so sure if COD M is published actually by Tencent or by Activision. If it's obviously made in partnership with Teamy, so in that case it's dangerous. But if it's published by Activision, then technically it's still an American company. Okay, same thing with like there's other games by Tencent. Let me just find it here. If you go on, like I'm using the Google Play Store because I can't use the App Store on Mac, but Wait for Lit says, is Aichi Chinese? Yeah, Aichi is also Chinese. So if you just search Teamy Studio, let's see what we get. Teamy. No, that's not it. Teamy Studio. Oops. That's Teamy Studio. All right, so you have Honor of Kings, and same thing with Level Infinite too. Level Infinite is also a part of Tencent's subsidiary, which let me see here. Level Infinite, yeah. So it's also part of Tencent. So Level Infinite and Teamy Studio, and Teamy Studio also has like a lot of these, like Call of Duty Mobile, Pokemon Unite, Arena of Valor, Honor of Kings, which is like Arena of Valor's like overseas version. You have Contra Returns. All of these are published by Teamy, right? So some of them are like big IPs. And then Level Infinite publishes, what do they have? Oh yeah, Level Infinite is PUBG Mobile. Level Infinite, ooh. Thing is freezing up. So you got PUBG Mobile, Exoborn, Honor of Kings, NBA Infinite, a lot of these games. Alchemy Star, Assassin's Creed Jade. Like some of them I've never even heard of. All right, so there's that. Next one is Medea. So Medea is a popular AC brand, right? You can actually find this on Costco, Amazon, anywhere. Medea is, I would say, also used with caution, simply because it's not, like not everyone has this, but if you do have a Medea air conditioner, don't hook it up to your Wi-Fi. Much like any Chinese smart devices, right? Don't hook it up to your Wi-Fi. Don't download the app because the app probably steals your data as well. Um, Question from S67 says, how does China weaponize data? So for one, they can understand your daily activities. They will build profiles against people who use Chinese apps, right? Like that's how TikTok's algorithm works in a sense, which is that they understand what you want to see. The more you crave things, they can build things that cater to you. And then they can also use data to analyze, what sort of social trends, what sort of likes and dislikes for a particular set of people, like Americans, for example. And so they can cater a lot of these things where they're basically used to numb your mind and to basically just create a lot of cognitive sort of changes within you that you don't realize. And slowly you basically build reliance and you see things differently. Some of them develop, like pro-China stances. But data is like the center point for analyzing your behaviors, as well as obviously personal information such as bank information. They use it to feed into their big data. It's a lot of use. All right, the next one is Discord. So Discord is also invested by Tencent. Again, I would probably use it with caution because it's one of those apps where you can use an alias online, and if you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of key information. But I've also heard stories about how Discord is a privacy nightmare. So I would say use it with caution. Epic Games is another one of these things because it's an American company. It is owned by Tencent. But again, because it's not a fully Chinese company in the sense that in America. It's an American company with a Chinese parent company. It's like you just have to use it with caution. Okay, Riot Games, same thing. I've also heard stories about their anti-cheat program called, I don't know what it's called, to have problems where it's like going into your computer's roots, right, to read some of the things. And Timotheus says, you need to add Xiaomi. Yeah, Xiaomi is obviously Chinese. Okay, so there's Riot Games, again, games like League of Legends, Valorant, they use with caution, right? AliExpress is one of these, is pretty dangerous as well, because AliExpress, like Shein, is owned in China, but not everybody uses AliExpress to the extent that Shein is obviously more popular. And so even though AliExpress does the same, it steals your data, it records everything. Octane V2 says Riot anti-cheat is called Riot Vanguard. Yes, Vanguard has kernel level access to your computer. Exactly, Hamster. Hit TV. What is Hit TV? Hit TV, like this one here? Or is there something else? Hit TV. I'm not so sure about this one, actually. All right, so let's go on to the next one, Weibo. Okay, again, this one is relatively dangerous because it's, again, one of those things that it is dangerous, but it's not, like, not everybody uses it because all the content on there is Chinese. So you clearly, if you read Chinese, you use it, it's definitely part of that. So use with caution, but also it's not an applicable case to everybody. Obviously, if you're in China, you use Weibo, and they require you to have real name authentication. So basically, you have to show your real name. The Chinese government knows where you are. They know your location, your IP address, etc. So again, one of those really important ones. Okay, Supercell. Supercell, I was debating because I would say use with caution, but also I was like relatively dangerous because Supercell is invested by Tencent as well. Clash of Clans is like it's a Finnish company. Supercell is a Finnish mobile developer, but they're now owned by Tencent as well. But I think I would put it as relatively dangerous because just the sheer number of people that play, I think should matter to people. A lot of these companies like Epic Games, Riot Games, Blizzard, they all cater to Chinese censorship too, right? So that like they want the Chinese market. Uh, Kitty says we all cooked. I use a lot of those. Yeah, exactly. So use with caution for a lot of these because data is like one of those things. You might not think that you're important to people. Somebody does find you important. Tony Francesco says, I want my data to be stolen by American apps. All right, next one is wish.com. Again, so this one is very interesting. I would put it as use with caution because Wish is actually an American company. It's based in California, but it sells Chinese products, much like what you would find on AliExpress and on Temu. But it's an American version. So technically, it's an American company. So use it with caution. All right, so games like Legend of Neverland. I don't know if anybody plays this. I didn't know about this until now. I just basically looked at who publishes this game, right? So if you go to search Legend of Neverland, okay, it says it's published by Arc Games Global, a company called Arc Games Global. Okay. If you search for Arc Games, so this obviously sounds like, oh, it's probably like a really non-Chinese brand, right? Arc Games Global sounds pretty good. But if you read it, it says here, Arc Games is a UGC game platform under Kunlun Tech, which has released nearly 100 high-quality games over 150 countries and regions. Kunlun Tech is a Chinese company. Arc Game Studios is a Chinese company. So, Baby Elephant says, I didn't know Xi Jinping was a streamer. I don't know, man. I don't know what you're talking about. This is just how I look, okay? Don't discriminate against my appearance. All right. Okay, next one. We have CapCut. CapCut is super danger because CapCut is actually owned by ByteDance, who also owns Douyin or TikTok. So CapCut is the video editing software for Douyin and other short form videos. And having this app, it's on your computer, it's very dangerous. It probably collects your data. All right, Temu is the next one. We've talked too much about Temu. Obviously, Temu has the same amount of problems with Shein because it, one, builds reliance to it steals your data, all your personal information, phone numbers, emails, and everything is on there. They can access it. It's used by a huge number of users. So, that's a lot of the dangers here. And the next one is a Chinese app called Xiaohongshu, which is called Little Red Books. It's a very popular social media app. It's kind of like a mixture of not Yelp. What is it called? That one app that like you go on Pinterest / Facebook / Instagram kind of app. It's supposed to like a lot of young people love to use it because it's like you can show off a lot of the stuff that you do, right? Okay, so Blizzard Activision or Blizzard whatever. Honestly, I would just put this in relatively dangerous because Blizzard Activision has actually censored Hong Kong democracy protesters. Like there was a pro Hearthstone player. He basically, I think he said something about free Hong Kong democracy, and Blizzard just, I don't know what happened. Let me read it up, actually. I think his name was Blitzchung. Controversy. Oh, yeah. So 2019 October, American video game developer Blizzard Entertainment punished Ng Wai Chung, also known as Blitzchung, a Hong Kong esport player of online video game Hearthstone, for voicing his support of the 2019 to 2020 Hong Kong protests during an official streaming event. Blizzard also terminated their contract with the two live stream presenters who were interviewing Blitzchung. The public's response, which included a boycott and a letter from United States Congress representatives to Activision Blizzard, prompted Blizzard to reduce the punishment, but not to eliminate it. Yeah, so Blizzard is literally a company that aids in Chinese censorship. Just a terrible company to be around. Okay, so there's Blizzard. Next one is MiHoYo, or the entirety of HoYoverse, which I've already done a video on. They're Cranked Up says Activision literally hired a team of psychiatrists to manipulate its player base. Wow, that's crazy. Padisuro Meritani says, what about Bilibili? Bilibili is also a Chinese app. If you use it, I think the web version is less dangerous, but if you have the app, all the apps collects data if they're Chinese. Rice and Cola says, thoughts on the upcoming Wuthering Waves game. Yeah, I've heard. I keep getting those ads on Instagram. They're like, Wuthering Wave is here. Lol. All right, before we continue, let me just do a little sponsorship video. So if you haven't heard, on my channel, I always talk about this. It's called Gin-X Red Ginseng Extract. I'll put the link in the description. But basically, it's a red ginseng extract from Canada. And it looks like this. So what you do is I just take 2-3 sips, I'll do it right now online. You just take it like this. And I just drink some water after. So red ginseng and black ginseng, if you haven't heard, it's like a very good supplement because for one, it helps to boost your alertness and to reduce the need for more coffees, because ever since I started drinking this, I notice I'm less tired throughout the day. And so I just drink 2 drops in the morning, and it really helps with my mental activities throughout the day. So it keeps me aware. And it's also proven, a lot of the Koreans love ginseng supplements, red ginseng, black ginseng. There's a lot of different benefits, there's anti-cancerous properties, there's immune boost, etc. like that. So I'll put the link in the description if you want to check it out. All right, next one is, let me go to this. Next one is PUBG Player Battleground. Again, super dangerous because it's published by Tencent. So like any other games by Tencent, it's going to do a lot of trouble with you. All right, WeChat. This one, I would say it's more used with caution because not everybody uses WeChat. WeChat is used in China. If you do business in China, WeChat is really, it's like you have to have it. Every Chinese person uses it. But if you're not communicating with China, WeChat is not really that problematic. But it is dangerous in the sense that when you do use it, it censors you, collects data on you, probably even surveils you. Okay, next is Roblox. I would say it's okay to use this, but it is also invested by Tencent. So I haven't heard anything about Roblox being problematic in that sense. But the problem with Roblox, actually maybe I'll use with caution, because everybody plays Roblox, especially young kids. And so that's the dangerous part. WeChat should be relatively dangerous. Yeah, I thought about that because I'm but the thing is, not everybody uses this, so maybe I'll just put it here for now. Next one is TCL Home. Again, this is used with caution, much like Medea. If you have a TCL TV, it's going to be pretty bad if you have the app, because TCL is a Chinese company. They have smart TVs. If you use them, they can spy on you. So any smart appliances in your home, if they're made in China, make sure you don't connect them to your Wi-Fi. Opera GX. Okay, so that's a good one. I did not put up Opera GX. Who is it made by? Otello Corporation. It's based in Norway. Is Opera based in, or it's owned by China? I don't think so. Is it? Oh, it is by Kulintech. Oh wow! So the same guys that did the. So this is, again, it's an investment. So technically, it's not really a Chinese company. It's an investment. Okay, last but not least, we have Mobile Legend. Again, it's made by Mutan. So Mutan, it's not an Indonesian company. It's a Chinese company. So here is Mutan. If you take a look, it says Shanghai Mutan Technology Limited, commonly known as Mutan, is a Chinese multinational video game developer and publisher owned by the Nuverse subsidiary of ByteDance and based in Shanghai. So I didn't know this. Apparently, it's even related to ByteDance. Michael LeBoy says investment means 99% owned. Yeah, some of them are. Like Riot Games is 80 something percent owned by, or is it 90% something owned by Tencent? Hiroshi Nagoya says, I think I think Opera is owned or was owned by Apple. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Red Sofa Animation says, what Winnie the Pooh doing? I don't know what you're talking about. This is how I look. Stardew Valley is actually safe because I think it's independently made by a single person, which is pretty impressive. Okay, is there any other apps that you want me to look at for this particular tier list? But this is so far right now, nothing that I've reviewed that I think people use is safe. Most of them, obviously, you want to stay away from these two, the super danger and the relatively dangerous. Use with caution is like, you know, if you... I would probably put COD M here, actually. Thinking about it, they probably spy on you. Use with caution. Again, these are pretty case by case. If you're not a gamer, obviously you don't use these. If you shop for any of them, they just... Free Fire, Garena Free Fire. Oh, yes. That's also Free Fire. Garena International. Let's see here. Garena International is what? Let me see. Who owns the... So they have 18% ownership by Tencent, and rest of them is owned by a Singaporean publisher, which is for C Limited. So I think they're actually okay. Wait for it, says, is Aichi Chinese? Aichi is Chinese. Turkish guy says, am I hallucinating or is that Winnie the Pooh? Yeah, boy. No Chabon says Honor of Kings. I already talked about Honor of Kings, which is Arena of Valor. TikTok falls under... Oh, do I not have TikTok in here? That's crazy. TikTok, let me put TikTok in. Where is it? This one. Yeah, I forgot TikTok apparently. Where is it? Yeah, TikTok is super dangerous. Yeah, so Diablo Immortal is another game that's basically like it's partly owned by China as well. Can I still fix my chat? Can I turn on slow mode? Okay, so I turned on slow mode. I'm only 5 years old. What would be an example of something safe? Like Facebook, Instagram, anything made in America. By safe, you know, like there's like if you're okay with the U.S. government having your data, obviously, yeah, then that's safe. But if you're not, then anything like technically is not safe. You have to live like an Amish lifestyle. Why PUBG is not safe, says Steven Johnson, because PUBG is published by a Chinese company and it's called Level Infinite, which is owned by Tencent, which is like a Chinese game conglomerate. Harastu Madani says, is Genshin Impact dangerous to PC or just to phones? I believe it's dangerous on all platforms. QQ, Emily Ava says, is QQ safe? No, QQ is also owned by Tencent. So if you do use it, it falls in the same as the Tencent. Chizoni says, what about Bank of China and other Chinese banking apps? They're probably equally dangerous. Any app. So here's the problem with Chinese companies, right? Some of them, they may not technically work under the CCP yet, but if a game makes it big, then that's what happens. Like what happened with MiHoYo recently is that they started to establish a bunch of United Front office in their Shanghai headquarters. And by having those, it basically means they started to serve the will of the CCP. Azur Lane, I don't know what Azur Lane is. Azur Lane is Bilibili, yeah. So Yostar, I believe, is also Chinese. Yeah, Yostar is also Chinese, so pretty dangerous. Arknights, Blue Archive, all of these, Mahjong Soul. Gilded, aka Discord competitor. Oh, they're owned by Roblox. I think that's fine. It's based in San Francisco. Steam is okay. Gavin Zhang says Xiaohongshu and Weibo are not automatically super danger. What's the reasoning? The reasoning is not everybody uses them. They're very catered to Chinese speakers only. So that's why I put them as relatively dangerous, because not everybody uses them. Akim Ezra says, except from living in China and knowing Chinese apps are affiliated with the CCP, do you have any other proof or stuff that implicates CCP spying on the rest of the world? Well, there's hundreds of articles talking about how ByteDance, for example, they can access data of the American version, which is TikTok, from China. So that's a very concrete proof, in my opinion. And that every Chinese app in China uses the real name authentication processes, which means that they know exactly where you are. They have your location, your IP address. So that's why when you post something in China, they can immediately find you. And so there is no reason for them to stop doing that outside of China to collect those information. And so I just think that the evidence is very overwhelming that they are spying on the rest of the world. Daki Bo says Supercell is not CCP affiliated. It is. It's partly owned by Tencent. Timotheus Natha says, how many years did you live in China before moving out? Lived there for 11 years. Till I was 11, basically. Okay, let's read some funny comments now, because this tier list. So let me just screenshot this here and post that somewhere. Okay, cool. So we can get rid of that. Okay, so I want to start with which one? Oops.
China fakes everything part 18. Just another day.
So, fakes part 18. I think this is some of the most funny comments. Botch says, wow, no okay or safe apps at all. I just didn't include them because I'm like, so any American-made apps is fine. Living Ghost says, I'm gonna kiss my CCP agent. Yeah, you should start to flirt with the CCP agent. Maybe you can even learn Mandarin to do that. Haran says, can you define the term super dangerous in the context with software you put up? Is it just data that is getting collected, or they can be used against you? A lot of that is that they create a reliance of using the ways of, like, for example, right, TikTok, it's less about making money on that. It's more about you rely on the app for news, for videos, for entertainment. It changes you cognitively. It's a multifaceted danger in that there's you can't live without those apps, or that it starts to shape your worldviews because you start to use those apps. Super Profi says, is there any Chinese app that is entirely safe? I don't think so. Even to Chinese people themselves, they know that they're getting spied on, right? So it's not like this is just sparking out of nowhere that Chinese apps aren't safe, but it's even people in China. Okay, so this one is pretty funny. Let's see here. You're just jealous you don't have a Bluetooth water pump. This one's so funny. I was so shocked because
in the field for the farmers in China. Oh, look, they installed a new water pump for us. How nice. Oh, it has nothing on the bottom, not even connected to any water pipe.
This is just hilarious. I saw these images. I'm like, this is so funny. So they put up a water pipe for show, and then on the bottom, there's not, like, it's not hooked up to anything. It's so funny. Your Bluetooth is connecting. Thank you, glorious leader Shi. I would not be able to assemble my crabs without your grace by myself. Water pump be like the Bluetooth delays. The star thing says, how can you say American apps is safe? Is the same thing you use your application to collect data? Yeah, no, obviously they collect your data, but it's who has access to your data, and I think that's important. There are rules and regulation in place. Are they always 100% going to guarantee that you have the same, protection? I think you probably have more protection, even if they're being sold to other on the black market or being in trafficked, right? Those you can't really prevent, but the way with the Chinese companies is that the data is being sent to a government that's using it to actively wage a war against you. So that's the part that's very scary. China is so advanced; they have Bluetooth water pump. It's so funny. Everyone's talking about the Bluetooth water pump. Okay,
this is Alice.
I don't know if you guys watched this one yet. So this is Alice School. They, I just find the entire thing hilarious because she is, like, if you look at the video where she was answering the questions, she was being asked by the lawmakers, like, what her backgrounds are. And she doesn't remember of any of them, right? You should add Lilith games into the list. They have a lot of Western players, so super danger, in my opinion. Lilith games. I'm not familiar with that one. Eggfish358 says, is Chinese mobile phone companies even safe? No, Xiaomi and Huawei. There was videos, like when there was a protest in a bridge in Beijing, on a bridge in Beijing. It's on a bridge in Beijing. They were deleting videos, like the phones themselves were deleting videos. Timotheus says, what's your opinion about the news that Chinese people are harassed by Chinese spy in foreign country? Are you talking about the ABC Australia documentary? Because that one is really telling of the amount of effort they do. So in this long form video that I did called Chinese former spy reveals it all, I actually talk about that. Kuro Games. Let me see, what is Kuro Games? It is Chinese, yeah. So Wuthering Waves is probably also Chinese. They have a lot of budget to promote these two. So yeah, Wuthering Waves is Chinese. It's probably dangerous. Should not play it. All right, so memes of West Taiwan, part 3. This one's pretty funny too. It says clap or gulag.
Understanding memes from Western Taiwan with David Zhang. This time, Xi Jinping loves sprinkling pepper. Now, we know that obviously leaders don't write speeches themselves, but at least you should read it through. In 2021, Xi Jinping gave a speech saying, "We emphasize practical guidance and strict rules, do not engage in frivolous tricks, red tape, or superficiality, and resolutely oppose generalization." And then he took a 3-second pause and says,
撒胡椒面.
So sprinkling peppercorn powder became a meme online because everybody's trying to figure out what the heck does that even mean. And of course that phrase was censored. Internet users interpret it as peppercorn being used as a term to describe carelessness or lack of focus when it comes to growth and development. Maybe Xi Jinping should stick to seasoning with MSG instead.
全国人民都为热干面加油.
China meme.
All right, this is funny. Clap or gulag is crazy. It's true though. Even Winnie the Pooh speechwriters mock him. This is how you know you're incompetent when your own speechwriter mocks you. This honestly, it's so bizarre because nobody understood what sprinkling pepper means, and the guy just kept going. Bro, I fear the writer of that speech is no longer among us. Probably. Plot twist, the CCP official accidentally added part of his shopping list to Pu Jinping's speech. Winter says, I wonder why sprinkling pepper Xi Jinping has no result on Google. You have to search in Chinese. Rogue Alone says, I swear Pu Jinping is the weirdest man I've ever known, especially West Taiwan. RIP to his speechwriter, West Taiwan. Noodle sales the next day. Oh man, that's pretty funny. Uncle Roger will be angry with this one because he said pepper, not MSG. That's pretty good. If you understand it, if you can understand Chinese, it's like 100% times funnier. Sir Sora says, I will literally quit Genshin and Star Rail if they have bad intentions to the player base. I only heard that miHoYo is just getting protection from the John Cena government and thought of nothing more. Is Apple and Samsung safe because they're also made in China? Yeah, like that part is okay. Because at the end of the day, they're Korean and American companies. This is pretty funny. Okay, next one.
All right, so imagine you're...
So this was about the giant robot girlfriend. Terminator not one step closer to becoming Ryan Gosling in Blade Runner 2019. Definitely. She's real to me. Detroit become human went from a video game to reality really quick. Sees the 6-armed robot lady, electronic music starts playing. I doubt they'll ban it out. They'll probably implement ads. Baby, we should buy. Knowing China, that's probably a real person pretending. Yeah, someone says that's a real person pretending. Well, it looks like a robot to me. I've already seen a video of the Chinese waitress restaurant owner moving uncannily like a robot to entertain her guests. This might even be her. Anything. So Zyro David Lalisan says, have you ever seen War Robots? Because I played them and they seem owned by Tencent. Oh, go check it out. If they're owned by Tencent, they're probably bad. Mike says, you look lonely, I can fix you. Man, that's pretty funny. What else is there? The 6-armed one got me thinking unwise. Oh my gosh. Just imagine you're sleeping after a long day and just wakes up. You're saying, babe, wake up. We have to listen to Xi's new pepper speech. And then proceeds to explode like a Chinese EP. Gosh. They don't need men to fight anymore. They're building a robot army. That's true.
Did you know MiHoYo, the
So this is from Genshin Impact. People are, I don't think there's, not this one, no. This one we did, oh yeah, let's do a social experiment. This one had some funny ones too. Alcadior says, if I made public posts and arguments against China, what would happen if I, say, took a trip and had a flight that stopped in China for like an hour? Would I be in danger of their crap laws? So, good question. China started to check phones and laptops, I believe, in Hong Kong beginning in July this year. I don't know about other places, but I would just, with any caution, traveling to any like of these countries as a caution is to just take a burner phone, or don't take your phone at all, or just make sure your tech and stuff stays the same. Now they probably don't know who you are if you made posts online, and like I think it's fine if you, especially it's just a layover, but at the end of the day, don't expose yourself by having your mobile device. They could still check you. Everyone keeps saying this. Oops.
Let's do a social experiment.
Yeah, like stuff like this. David Zhang is a happy individual and his journalistic integrity is a priority. He's not suicidal and he loves his family very much. Yeah, like I don't know why people keep think I'm gonna get like ended by the CCP secret police. Mobyfish says, does China take note of criticism against China's CCP from foreigners? I've been talking a lot of smack about CCP on Facebook. Foreigners, less. If you speak Mandarin, you do it in Mandarin. It's a little bit more. Bro's forehead. This one's pretty funny. This one was about how
these days. 3 people got in trouble with the police for wearing the same outfit, and allegedly they didn't report it to the police first. And that's according to new regulations. No more than 2 people can wear the same outfit and gather together. Meanwhile, local authorities are fining people, from ticketing a bike without a license plate, to finding a passenger on a long-distance bus for not wearing a seatbelt, to someone walking. In one province, the finance director visited the traffic police department, and she clearly suggested that traffic police bureaus should try their best to achieve its expected fiscal revenue targets. Police making money. I wonder how. More fine, which means more money for the local government, who is out of money.
So this one has some funny comments. From Unknown HC says, what are you, the fashion police? Chinese police? Yes. I got a ticket for trespassing, but not even in China. You know it's bad when Florida man logic makes more sense. 2 random people wearing the same outfit. So, I don't know if you guys watch any Chinese memes, but my favorite one so far is this design is very human. You guys ever seen this?
No. So, I invented this anti-stepping shoe cover. The design is very human. When someone steps on us, he can't leave without giving us an apology. Very easy to use. Many people are afraid to eat meat for fear of gaining weight. So, I invented this meat fat reduction device. The design is very human. We only need to put the meat on the machine, then start the switch. Let the meat move to reduce their fat, so we don't have to worry about gaining weight by eating meat. Very easy to use.
Boy Artist says, will the stream be available to watch after it ends?
In the morning we always cannot get up, so I invented this force to get up to assist the bed. The design is very human. Every morning when the time is set, it will force us to get up, so that we can wake up early every day. Very easy to use. This is my newly invented multifunctional bicycle seat. The first is the anti-theft system. After locking, others can't ride away. Rain does not affect the use of the seat. It is easy to freeze our ass in winter. So also added seat heating function. If we are tired of riding, can also stop at any time to bake food to eat. Very easy to use. When we go out in high heels, it is easy to twist our feet on uneven surfaces. So, I invented this all-terrain heels. The design is very human. Let my good friend demonstrate. We only need to put the air tank on our back when we...
What did, Mike, what did you ask? Etsy or Soy says, do you make videos in Mandarin too? No, I don't. I used to do, but I'm like, nah, it's better to do them in English. Movifish says, not gonna lie, I've seen some Chinese memes as well. I gotta say, they have some pretty funny stuff. Hate the CCP, not the people. Yeah, like humor transcends language, in my opinion. You know what the funny thing is, though? China, so let me show you this article. China talk show roast. Let's see. So there used to be a Chinese, like basically like a roast program, like a stand-up comedy / roast program called Rock and Roast. And for a while, like they had, I think 4 or 5 seasons of like comedians coming up and doing these short segments of like pretty funny jokes, right? Kind of, you know, how like stand-up comedy works in the US and other countries. But then because of like certain jokes that went political, the entire like genre, or even I guess you would say this style of comedy got blacklisted in China. So people can no longer do it. So they basically banned humor in a sense. Because to be honest, right, what stand-up comedy doesn't dip into politics? Because politics is what makes things funny, right? You can joke about Biden or Trump or whoever you want. You can impersonate Trump, impersonate Biden, right? George Bush was a big target of being impersonated too before that. Clinton, right? It's supposed to be funny. You know, you make fun of the leaders. That's how people get jokes, right? But China actually censored this because there were some jokes talking about the zero COVID situation. There were jokes talking about the Chinese military. So there was a Chinese comedian who appeared. Actually, I think he wasn't even on the show when he did this, but he made a joke about the PLA, saying that they're basically like barking dogs, and that was being treated as if it's you know, insinuating that the PLA is just a bunch of dogs. Like I had a video for this too. Let me try to find it. Chinese senator comedian. Yeah, so this one.
A Chinese stand-up comedian is completely censored across the web in China. The latest censorship target is Qi Zi, a young comedian touring North America. The Chinese Cyber Administration banned all searches after he did a show here. The stand-up comedian spoke on topics too sensitive to the CCP, like lockdowns, Xinjiang, and censorship policies. Now you cannot find anything related to his name on Chinese search engines, and his career is practically over in China, as celebrities who are talked to or disappeared are unable to land job offers. It is too dangerous for entertainment companies to hire them again. People in the comedy circle will view this as a warning to them not to speak on political topics anymore. Many comedians rose to fame in a popular competitive stand-up comedy program in China. These programs were suspended for a while because of jokes related to lockdowns and such sensitive topics. Humor is dead in China under the CCP.
So that was a big thing, a big letdown, because I mean, once you start to have no more jokes and no more comedy, you know, it makes everything so serious. And that's just, man, like, honestly, it's pretty sad. Like, even people in China, they can't take jokes, right? The fragility of the CCP. It's crazy. Talk about Zhang Ya Wuzhao guy. Who is that? Let me look. Chrome says, too sensitive for CCP, aka having an opinion. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if you guys seen this one. This is about the Samyang hot chicken. I don't know if you've ever had it. It's really spicy. But basically in China, you can find the fake version of this, and it tastes really bad. But I can't believe they even fake ramen noodle. Like, this is what, like a $2-3. You can buy that, and they still want to fake it. It's crazy. Dig Balaya says, do videos of China Observer are real? I think they are. Most of them, I think. I'm not so sure, actually. But like the videos you see from China, most of them are real. And this one is pretty funny. It says, Blaze 5x5x 5 says the sunscreen dispenser one is funny. How the heck is he supposed to get the back of my neck? No, you just stick your neck inside the dispenser. That's what you do.
China Fakes Everything Part 17. Samyang Hot Chicken Ramen actually has a fake version in China. You couldn't tell from the packaging. It's the serial number. Of course, even if you cook the noodle, it looks exactly the same. Well, the taste is horrible, of course. There's a famous dish called beggar's chicken in China. It's when you wrap the chicken in clay and bake it. Well, this man orders one for takeout only to find that his clay-covered chicken is actually clay-covered clay. Or maybe the restaurant thought he needed the full experience of the beggar and the homeless, so he gave him the clay, but he's like, you gotta go fetch the chicken yourself. Now, what if you bought gold and it's fake? Well, that seems to be pretty common in China. This lady brought her gold bar to get examined, and it turns out after breaking it through that the color inside is silver. She says she got this as part of a joint shares program. It's summer, you need sunscreen. Welcome to China, here.
Okay, so this is in my hometown in Zibo. So this is like the town that I was born in. And then they have these like dispenser things. So I was saying, like, if you need sunscreen for your neck, just stick your head in. You never know what the heck is inside of it. But this time you're lucky. There's a guy inside, so you can spray those sunscreens on you. Samyang hot chicken, Samsung hot chicken. Sorry, the auto caption did me dirty. Clay covered clay is clayception. Dan, this costume is really hot. Like I'm sweating in this. Euphoric says, do you think the weather balloon was a weather balloon? It's definitely not a weather balloon. That's like saying I flew a drone to your house and I took a bunch of pictures of you, and then I say that I accidentally flew a pilot training device over your backyard. Is that like, nobody's gonna believe you. Kim Rott says homemade spray. You gotta go fetch the chicken yourself. Overjoyed says, isn't Lenovo partly Chinese owned? Lenovo is a Chinese company through and through. They're like one of the... So there's a few Chinese companies out there that are very much like the crown jewel of the CCP, right? One of them is Huawei, the other one is BYD, Xiaomi is now a big one, Lenovo, Tencent, ByteDance. What else is there? There's a few other ones. They're like the crown jewels. Zyro David Eliasen says, have you heard the fake Jollibee in China? Is there actually a thing called fake Jollibee? There's no way. Oh my god. Joy Roll B? Is this it?
Wow! Joy Roll B! Kinapi na ang Jollibee! Dito lang sa China yan! Tara, pasukin natin sa loob!
Let's go!
Okay. Ito yung pinakaloob ng Joy Roll B. Parehas na parehas sa Jollibee. Pati yung paninda nila.
Oh my god, look what they're selling. Wait, let me get a different frame on this.
Parehas na parehas.
So, oh, it's too blurry. How do I make it less blurry? So clearly it's not Jollibee, but they're selling like a whole roasted chicken, honey roasted chicken. They're selling fried chicken. They're selling wings, and that looks like something else. By the way, if you haven't had Jollibee, it's so crazy. It's so good. So here's a funny story. One time back in a city I lived in, they opened up a Jollibee, right? It was like the first one in the city. And so, like, all the Filipino people, like, across the entire area was coming to get Jollibee. And they had to put, like, an entire queue line up in the parking lot. And it was so long that it took, like, 2 months before I could actually get in line to order some. And because I was like, it's so good, so I ordered way too much chicken. And I had, like, the worst stomach pain of my entire life. And after that, I couldn't eat Jollibee for, like, a year or two. But it's really good. The pineapple juice, so good. Gosh. Like, what is this? 29 yuan, which is like $4 or $5, a whole fried chicken. Is there any other? Some bullshit. Oh my god, you get a whole fried chicken, and this looks like the McDonald's cone, ice cream cone.
Nasa mata.
In fact, let me show you a video. Let's see here. Is it here? How do I play the? Let me see if I can add something.
怎么？你他妈把区元包里面了？什么玩意儿？
盘点开箱爆笑名场面。
开箱！哇！我靠 ！AJ！ 哇，真的假的？哇！我做梦都想要一双，真精致啊！有没有懂得这是 AJ 几啊？哇！这走线，这飞人 logo， 哇这哎。
that's what do you call it? That's not Jumpman. That's
这什么牌子啊
mentally unstable man.
洗护套装啊，还送个洗头膏呢。
So everything this guy bought is like the fake version, like fake head and shoulder, head and what is that?
这什么牌子？利率，这个怎么搞？看看什么好东西啊！
So that's supposed to be water, like a water brand.
稍微有一点点小亏啊，不过问题也不大，毕竟是个大牌子啊，喝起来稍微放心一点啊。
But it turned out to be like a
农夫
山贼。
山贼。
So the normal one is called 农夫 Springs.
现接
This one is
自来水。这什么鬼牌子啊？完了完了完了，全他妈完了。
So this is supposed to be Pepsi, right?
这个没问题啊，总算一个靠。
It says White Affairs Code.
百事可乐，这什么阴间牌子啊？这怎么喝？这他妈不能人给我喝走了？太过分了，必须！哎，还有啊。
And that's supposed to be milk. So this says pure milk. But the translation reads pure milk and horse.
纯牛马。这是个什么东西啊？这什么？哟，泡面啊！ 酸菜面啊，这么多呢，你别说啊，真的有点给我气饿了。这一波血赚啊，真得到外面去买，不得10块8块的，真香啊！哎
，Is it fake noodles？
不对呀，没有给我筷子啊，感觉没有想好吃的，而且不给我筷子就算了，不是说送我火腿肠吗？
Oh my god, that
火腿肠也没有给我啊，回头我还经常吃这个老。
Like the
老坛
the phlegm in your throat
是这个坛吗
？Pickle sour cabbage beef noodles. That's so.
康帅傅，开箱，先开这个最重的啊，分量很足啊，看看什么好东西啊！哇，小麦果汁儿，良心老板啊，血赚哇！
It's not beer. It's some sort of a wheat drink.
勇闯天堂，这什么牌子啊？ 完了完了，我感觉不对劲啊！哎，这个好像没问题啊。
Like shampoo again?
清肠。
CL fat. What the heck?
蓝月壳。
It's just like a bunch of fake brands.
这个怎么弄？哇，这什么？唐长老。有。啊 这个应该是要自己拼一下，这都很简单。
So that's if you ever seen a Chinese classic called Journey to the West. That's Monk.
这个最大了啊！什么玩意儿？ 哇，我就知道，哇，这个老板果然靠谱啊！你好评有了。我靠，这应该是个底座啊。
Oh, that's like a base for it.
应该有人的。哎，什么情况？没事啊，还有希望。
Anyways, let's watch one more, and then we'll end the stream.
哇，好像是个佛像。什么菩萨这是
What the heck is this?
这什么东西啊？
That's Ultraman in a Buddhist outfit. All right.
开箱。哇，苹果。
Okay, so I think we'll end the stream here. Thanks you guys for watching. Let me know what kind of stuff you want to watch next time. Leave it in the comments and check out the product that I showed today, Gen X. Link it in the description. And let me know what other stuff we should do for our next stream. All right, take care, everybody. See you next time.